Hi, 4th and 5th graders. All right, so today we are going to be making a creative color wheel. So this color wheel, we are going to be using the primary and secondary colors. So red, blue, and yellow are the primaries, and purple, green, and orange are the secondaries. You guys should know that. And then we are also going to be adding in the 6 tertiary colors. So I'm not sure whether or not Mrs. Komarchuk went over tertiary colors with you yet, but if she did not, then you are going to learn about them today. So I'm going to jump over to another video. We're going to talk about tertiary colors. And then once we've talked about that, I'll go into what we're going to do today for this project. All right, so looking at this color wheel, know that we have the 3 primary colors. So that's yellow, blue, and red. So we have 3 primary colors. Then we also know that we have 3 secondary colors. So we mix yellow and blue to make green. We mix yellow and red to make orange. We mix red and blue to make violet or purple, right? So we know that we have those 6 colors, the 3 primaries and the 3 secondaries, and we know how to mix the secondary colors. Now, you see all these other colors, these other 6 colors that are floating around this color wheel are colors that are in between each primary and secondary color. So you make those by mixing 1 primary and 1 secondary color together to get a tertiary color. So we're going to take a look at a video. I'm going to talk through it a little bit. We'll just watch her mix a couple of these colors. So she is going to do this with paints. So she's grabbing some yellow. And then as we all know, we have to clean off our brush and dry it before we can grab into another color so we don't mix the colors together where we don't want them to be mixed. So she's cleaning and drying her brush. Trying to skip through parts of this here. So then she picked up some orange and she's mixing that on top of that yellow that she moved into the empty pot. And so she's mixing yellow and orange together. So that's a primary color with a secondary color. So remember, to make orange, we mixed red and yellow together initially, right? So we have a color that's made of red and yellow already. So what she's doing is she's taking that color that's made of red and yellow, but she's adding even more yellow to it. So this color right here is actually just called yellow-orange. So that's spelled yellow-orange. So let's watch her make another one. So over here, she's going to make what would be on the other side of orange, what goes between orange and red. So since it's between orange and red, we're taking our orange, and then what she's going to do is she's going to grab some red, and then she's going to mix that into the orange, and that's going to make a color called red-orange. So these tertiary colors are actually really easy to remember the names of them because it's just the 2 colors that color sits in between, but with a dash in between them. So it's red is down here, then red-orange, then orange, then yellow-orange, and then yellow. So then over here, you can imagine what color we'd have. It's between the yellow and the green. So this tertiary color would be yellow-green. So it's going to be just a more yellow-green color. Okay. So then over here, since we know we have green and blue, what color would go here between green and blue? Blue-green, right? So that's just going to be green, but a little bit of a blue version, more blue version of that. So then let's see where we can see more. Okay. So we just talked about blue-green, which would go right in this spot. So then we have blue, and then between blue and purple, so there's not a pot here, but if there were a pot right here, this would be where that tertiary color goes. So between blue and purple or blue and violet, what would we call that? That would be blue, purple, or blue, violet. That's what that color would be called. So we have blue, blue, violet, violet, and then between red and violet, we would have red, violet. Okay? So all the way across, let's take a look at this chart again. Get it to focus. So we have our primary colors, again, yellow, blue, and red. And then in between each combination. So yellow and blue mixed together to make green, yellow and red mixed together to make orange, and then red and blue mixed together to make violet right here in the middle. So let's start up at yellow. So we have yellow and green, and then in between them, we just have yellow green. Okay, and we just made that again by mixing these two colors together to make that color. And then it works that way all the way around the color wheel. So remember, we have 3 primary colors, 3 secondary colors, and then we have 6 of the tertiary colors. So in the video we just watched, they were using paint to mix the tertiary colors after mixing the secondary colors from the primaries. But I am going to go on the assumption that you guys don't have paint. If you do, you can absolutely follow along with what happened in the video and mix your colors that way and use paints for this project. But I'm going to assume that you don't have paints. So I'm going to use crayons. You can also do this with colored pencils would work. I would say probably steer clear of markers. I think markers would be a little bit harder to blend and mix together. So we're going to do this example with crayons. So if you have a regular box of crayons, so I just have this 24 pack of Crayola crayon that are actually the tertiary colors. So if you look on your crayon where you can see the little, I guess it's over here, where the name of that color is, this one you can see actually says yellow green. So we know that that's one of our tertiary colors. We just learned that. So if you have a box of crayons or colored pencils that actually say yellow, green, red, violet, that sort of thing, then you can use those to fill in the tertiary colors on your color wheel that we're going to make. If you only have the primary and secondary colors of crayons, then you can mix the tertiary colors from that. The color red and orange, you would just color whatever that space is that you're trying to make red orange with the orange first and then color red right on top of it, and that'll give you your red orange. We are going to be making one big color wheel on a piece of white paper. Since this is a creative color wheel, you can make this color wheel look however you want. I'm going to first kind of draw a rough circle so that I have sort of the shape that I want. I'm making this really big on my white piece of paper. Okay, so it might be a little bit hard to see for you guys, but there's my big circle. So that's just giving me a rough idea of where I want to place everything. So how many colors are on the color wheel now? So we said there's 3 primaries, 3 secondaries, so that added together is 6. And then we know that there's 6 tertiary colors. So that's 6 plus 6 is 12. So we have 12 colors all the way around this wheel. So we need to make sure that we have 12 spaces around the wheel. If you want, you can use a ruler. I'm going to go ahead and grab one. Okay, so I grabbed my ruler, and I'm just going to use a pencil. So we're going to draw just a bunch of straight lines that go completely through our circle. So I'm going to start with a line that goes straight up and down. There's my straight up and down line. Now I'm going to make a cross, like a plus sign. So now I've got a plus sign. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different sections, but I still need to get to 12. So I'm going to split this like an X. So I'm splitting these 2 pieces in half. Okay, so I've got that. So then to make my X, I'm going to split these 2 pieces in half. Okay, so now how many pieces do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm getting close. I just have to draw 2 more lines. So I am going to just pick another spot that's right in the middle of a section. And I'm going to draw a straight line down. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need 2 more sections, which means I'm just going to draw 1 more line. So I'll choose to put it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So just make sure you have 12 sections for your 3 primaries, 3 secondaries, and 6 tertiary colors to fit in. Okay, so once I have this, you can see that not all of my sections are exactly the same space apart. That's okay. I'm just kind of using this big circle with all these lines as a guideline. Okay, so you'll see what I mean. So now I'm going to think of an object or something that I'd like to put in here. But you guys can draw whatever you want. If you want to draw a little Among Us character, I know that the 4th and 5th graders are in love with Among Us, so you guys can draw crewmates and then color those in with the colors. Actually, I might do that as well. Let's see if I remember how to draw an Among Us crewmate. So I'm going to draw it inside of each section. I'm just going to draw exactly the same picture 12 times all the way around, but all the way at the end. So I'll draw one here. So forgive me if this doesn't look exactly like a crewmate. I admit I have not played Among Us. And I think he's got like a little backpack. And then I feel like it's like a rectangle right here. And I think that's basically what a crewmate looks like. Okay, so then I'm gonna draw another one here at the end of this section. And I'm gonna go all the way around my circle with whatever you decide to draw. My lights just flicked off. That happens a lot. Okay, I've got my lights back on now. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish this one. I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna draw another little crewmate. So again, you guys can make trees, you can make different animals, you can make pizza if you want, just anything that you want to fit in here. And not even all of them have to look exactly the same. Most of what we're going for is for you guys to use your creativity and just make something that you like, but then each one is going to be colored in with the colors of the color wheel in the order that they would go on the color wheel. So I'll finish up my little crewmates all the way around. Okay, so I finished drawing all of my little crewmates. So now if you want to erase all of these lines and then the circle around it and just leave your crewmates, because that was just to space them out and make sure that we knew that we had the correct number. So I'll be right back after I erase that. All right, so I'm going to start wherever I want my first color to be. So I'm going to start with red just because that's the first primary color that comes to my head. So I'm going to start anyway. I'm going to just write red right there above that little guy's head. Okay? So then I know that right next to red, I would either have red orange or red violet. So I would pick which one I would put there. So I'll do red orange. And then I'm going to put what would be over here. If this is red orange, then this would be orange. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around. So like I said, when you start it, it doesn't matter which color you start with. But then once you start with that color, it does matter the rest of the order. And then my last one between red and violet, of course, would be red violet. Okay. So now that I have that marked out and I just went where you'd have to turn it, it's because these are all upside down. So you'd have to turn that color wheel all the way around to be able to read it. So now that I have this, I know exactly which colors each one of my little objects or my crewmates for my case are going to be. So now my next step would just be, after outlining my crewmates, if I choose to do that, which I think I am going to do that, I'm going to color each one in with the corresponding color that I have written above their little heads. So I'll come back once I've completely finished. Okay, so I'm not done, but I just remembered something I wanted to mention. You can see too that I gave myself a little, or my color wheel, a little name. Remember, I have a color on in my crayons that says red orange on it. So you can see red orange on there. So that's what I'm going to use to color this in with. If you only have red and orange, if you only have those three primary colors, that's perfectly fine. You'd color this red orange in with orange and then color red on top of it. And that's going to give you red orange. All right, so I have just finished my crewmate color wheel. I know that in Among Us, if you choose to also do crewmates, you can add little accessories to them. So if you want to add accessories to make them all look different other than just their colors, go for it. If you are not doing Among Us characters, or if you want to do just a couple of Among Us characters but not make all of them like that, you can make every single one of these 12 characters or objects around your color wheel a completely different object. You could have a flower, a tree, a cactus, a cat, a piece of pizza. It can all be completely different. The only thing that's important to keep the same is the order of the colors. Okay, so you could have started with the red all the way over here, but you'd still do red orange on one side of the red and then red violet on the other side of the red. All the colors would stay in the same order, okay? But they don't have to start in the same place. My lights just turned off again. Okay, so once you're done with your creative color wheel, if you want to give it a name, you can. And then please remember to fill out the Google form. And if you want to or you're able to, please take a picture of your artwork and submit it into that Google form, or you can email it to me if that doesn't work.